In our read today, we're going to be looking at the question, what did Jesus do to save human beings? I've attached two sheets on Seesaw. The first one is called Four Perspectives, and it looks like this. So I'm just going to talk you through this, but you have got your own copy on here. And you've got four different situations here, four scenarios, and they are about different people in different situations. Let's just have a look at them. The first one is called Bearing a Burden. Tom is carrying a rucksack. It is heavy. He cannot take it off. He feels as if he's been carrying it forever. The straps dig into his shoulders and the heavy bag gets in the way as he goes through the day. Now, some of these say talk about or act out because they're supposed to be in a classroom situation. You obviously can't do that. So I'd like you to write down the answers to these questions. How would Tom feel in that situation? What would it be like to carry such a burden? And what would he like to happen? Imagine now that you've got that heavy rucksack on your back. You can't take it off. The straps are digging into your shoulders and it's getting in the way. What would it be like to be weighed down by that? And then one day along comes Joshua and he offers to take the rucksack if Tom would like him to. So now I want you to write down, think about, and then write down answers to these questions. How does Tom feel about the idea of getting rid of the bag? What do you think Tom says? How do you think it feels to have that weight lifted off him? What does Tom feel towards Joshua? What might he do in response to Joshua's offer? And which words might you use to describe what Joshua has done? If you can answer all those questions in full sentences, please. Let's have a look at the next one, which is B. Stepping in. Rachel is walking to school one cold winter morning when there is a terrible accident. A car starts skidding on some ice, heading straight for her. So again, you've got some questions there which I'd like you to think very carefully about and write in full sentences your answers. In that instant, how does Rachel feel? What does she fear and what does she hope for? Just then, Joshua, who was walking a few steps behind her, dives forward and pushes Rachel out of the path of the oncoming car. The car hits Joshua instead. An ambulance is called. Joshua is taken to hospital with serious injuries. A few days later, Rachel visits Joshua in hospital. So think about and write down, why would Joshua do such a thing? How might Rachel feel about what's happened? And what could she do to show her gratitude? This next one is called Lost. Imagine you're on holiday with some friends. You've gone walking alone in some woods one afternoon. It's peaceful and calm as you walk deeper into the woods. Gradually, as the sun goes down and the shadows lengthen, you realise that you don't know where you are. Have you ever experienced being lost? How did you feel about it? What thoughts might go through your mind? What sights and sounds would you experience as darkness falls? Think about your literacy skills there and all the detail you could put into those answers. As the hours go by and your panic increases, the light goes and you are left in darkness. Eventually you hear a voice calling your name and you see a light through the trees. You call out and the light comes towards you. It's one of your friends, Joshua, who's been out searching for you and who knows the way back out of the wood. So again, think about and record your answers to these questions. How would you describe the moment you heard the voice, then saw the torchlight and then saw your friend coming towards you? What might the two of you say to each other? And this last one here, taking someone's place. Sam is in trouble. After messing about with some friends, Sam has broken a window at school. The only problem is Sam is often in trouble, and this is the latest in the long line of such incidents. This might be the last straw. Perhaps Sam will face serious punishment now. How does it feel when someone knows they've done wrong? What if they've let down someone they respect and know they have to face the consequences? How does it feel when someone knows they deserve to be punished and that this time it's serious? Full answers to those questions again, please. As Sam realises that it's time to face the head teacher and take his punishment, Joshua, a friend who's nearby, offers to take Sam's place. Joshua is prepared to go to the head teacher and take the blame, taking the punishment and letting Sam go free this time. What's your response going to be to these questions? What might Joshua be prepared? Why might Joshua be prepared to take the blame? Would Sam accept the offer? If Sam accepts, How might Sam respond to Joshua afterwards? So think about those 4 situations very carefully. Give me full answers to the questions. I'd like you to pause this video now and go and do that. And when you have finished, I'd like you to unpause it. Now, okay, so you should have completed your answers to those questions now. You may have spotted something in all 4 of those situations. There is one common factor, and I wonder if you can say what it is. Well, the person who comes to save all of those 4 different people is called Joshua. And he is a representation of Jesus. Now, I've attached a second sheet onto the Seesaw app, and I'd like you to have a look at that, because it explains how Jesus is represented in these 4 situations. So please read that very, very carefully.